Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Callum.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Marcin?
I'm very good. I'm in London, so we should have been catch up somewhere in the same place.
Yeah, you're like a mile away from me.
Yeah, you might have visited. I'm in Novi Sad office, enjoying the week here. We have been attending some of the events about which we will be talking about. Yeah, very busy week. And besides the fact that I'm not at home, nothing else has changed. What about you? How's your week?
Yeah, exactly the same. Exactly the same. Couple of events, lots of work. Yeah, same old.
How about you, people? How's your week? Let us know in the comments. Maybe someone was enjoying some break, holidays, or anything like that. We'll be extremely happy and jealous if you will tell us about that. And yeah, we can jump to the Umbraco news. We can start from a small apology or explanation, but maybe we shouldn't apologize because our previous episode that was released on April 1st and was completely about Sitecore content, become one of the most popular episodes of umbraCoffee.
Yeah, it's done quite well, hasn't it? I guess maybe we should be thinking about pivoting or something, doing Sitecore more often.
Yeah, that's an idea now. We are becoming more enterprise, so maybe umbraCoffee Enterprise Edition or something like that. We will consider it. Let us know if you would also watch.
I did actually quite enjoy last week's episode, but
yeah,
ignoring the fact that we didn't talk about Umbraco much or at all, it was quite informative. I know your own's in the chat here, your own, but yeah, it was good to learn a little bit about what other ecosystems are doing.
Again, I think every CMS, every technology should maybe consider doing something like that, because as we've mentioned, we are doing this because we want to save time always for people who are just interested in what's happening in Umbraco community and everything Umbraco related. And if something similar would be done for WordPress, Sitecore, Kentico, or whatever else, that's I think everyone who is interested would benefit from that. So it was fun, it was interesting, and thanks everyone for making it happen once again. And for the rest of you who were expecting Umbraco content, sorry, but we are back on track. We are back on track today.
But 2 weeks worth of news to discuss this week.
Yeah, so let's start then, because we have some things to discuss. Starting from Code Garden, because it's on the map, it's happening, it's coming, and there are early birds discounts still valid until the April 22nd.
Yeah, two more weeks today that you've got to get that early bird discount secured. So.
Yeah, we've discussed a lot of tax and VAT situations on the meetup on Tuesday. So
yes,
it's well explained here. Check it out. And if you haven't yet booked your tickets, definitely do that, because it's coming. Regarding Code Garden, we can also talk about speakers, right? Because the call for proposals were closed a while ago. And this week, speakers and people who were applying for talks received replies. And we have seen some tweets flying. Callum, your talk was approved and accepted.
Yeah, it was.
Some other people were also accepted. Who else is talking?
Osra, Carl, Cornet, Michael, Soren. Maybe I've missed a couple of people, but a very, very good
Carl, for sure, right?
Yeah, there's going to be probably more people than that, I think. But as well, if you look at the solid lineup that's already been announced, maybe we can say some of the pro speakers, not the community people who submitted, but you've got Per on the list. Shannon's there, and he should be coming over to Denmark for that, which would be great to see. People from Microsoft, really extensive list of very high quality speakers. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. And again, whoever we are talking with is very excited about Code Garden, and it's the next synchronization point on the Umbraco map. So yeah, we'll keep an eye. Definitely, Umbraco will be announcing and revealing some new speakers every week. So definitely, let's keep an eye on that and see what is coming. I'm very interested about some topics of the talks that were approved, but I'm sure that it will be a mixture of everything, and we will be all happy attending it and learning from it. Another thing related with Code Garden was about the promotion video, and this one was really, really cool. The teaser is on YouTube, and it was flying on social medias. Of course, there is a venue who you might have recognized. from the previous editions of Umbraco Code Garden, and it's right now being prepared for the new edition.
This is not the same venue. The building site is a nearby building, but
okay.
By all accounts, yes, one of the buildings being used for Code Garden is currently a building site and won't be. Fingers crossed by the time June comes around. As long as Trina helps Tony move all those bricks, I'm sure we'll be okay.
Yeah, hopefully they're okay and they're all right, and the event will happen. But yeah, that was really funny to watch, and yeah, fingers crossed for the whole Umbraco team doing an amazing job preparing the event. Other than that, there were new releases from Umbraco side, right? And a couple of them. We can start from Umbraco 18.3. With
this is the same as the 9.4.3 issue, which there is a really interesting. Maybe you can click onto the issue. In fact, this is a really interesting one that's been there since day one with Umbraco 8 and New Cache, where if you're using Models Builder in a certain mode, I think it's the runtime mode where it's doing everything in memory, it will duplicate objects. It's basically not clearing up the old versions of your models, which is very interesting. Something else that's interesting that was discussed at the meetup we had earlier this week was that kind of all of the knowledge about New Cache used to sit with Stefan and then kind of Shannon, and then now you can see here the whole team is really getting deeper knowledge on how it works, and it's a very interesting thread to have a read of this issue, including the video here from Darius, who's kind of debugging and diagnosing the contents of that New Cache. So yeah, go have a look. But it's nice to see some fixes for New Cache coming.
Yeah, and again, I wanted to say that this kind of discussions are always amazing to watch, because we all need to learn. Again, there is a danger always if the one person knows everything, or a couple people just know about things. And here it looks like the knowledge is getting distributed more across the Umbraco HQ members. I still don't know how New Cache is working internally, so I've fingers crossed for people who are exploring it right now. And we've been discussing also the abilities of abstracting New Cache, doing some other things with other Umbraco areas, but that's great to see things like that coming, and this patch hopefully will save a lot of issues for people who are experiencing this problem. So yeah, good job. Other than that, we had some community releases, and Callum, you released a package as well. Tell us more about it.
I released 2 versions of this because I had to fix something, but the story goes, I had a client, they didn't like that we had to store API keys and secrets in config on Umbraco Cloud, which normally we'd use environment variables and whatever else. And I hear from Philip that might be something that they'll consider in the future. But at the minute, you just have to store them in config, which means they get checked into your repo, which isn't great. So we proposed loads of solutions to clients. They weren't happy with them. And I ended up with this, which is a way of storing encrypted or protected credentials in the Umbraco database, and then a service for accessing them, and a nice back office interface for managing them in a secure way that's not going to, accidentally expose them to anyone. So yeah, solved a need for us. It's kind of like Key Vault, but running in Umbraco.
Nice, really useful package, and I saw a lot of discussions about it previously on Twitter. So definitely a lot of people will be willing to use it. And as you mentioned, Umbraco was and still is doing some work to make it more friendly to use in the cloud and headless projects. So maybe we can see something similar soon. The next one is from Jason, and this is called Emptiness. So you probably know more about it. I didn't check this package yet.
It is nullable. For people that may be aware, in modern.NET, we can have nullable reference types, where we can basically make anything nullable and make it return a null instead of true or false or 0 for the integer being the default value. And all of the Umbraco pickers property editors, they all use default values like a 0 or a false. So this allows them to be nullable. And it just swaps out all of the value converters and lets you replace them with something else, including for labels, Boolean values, the lot. It does everything. which is great. It's for V9, and by all accounts, again, we're going to see something. This is something that the HQ have expressed interest in doing in core. It would be a massive breaking change, hence why it's not pull request to core or something. But it just makes working in code a lot cleaner, a lot more reliable. You can be sure of what a value actually is by doing this.
Yeah, and again, it's a trend right now in the .NET communities to expect nulls as well in various places. So it's a really interesting concept here. But yeah, I need to check it out because in a lot of situations we used to have problems with default values, and sometimes you don't want to have default values as well. So yeah, good stuff. And another one was from Dan Diplo, and it's a media download for Umbraco. The package that allows to download the media or the media folders or the whole media section as a zip package. And what is interesting, and I asked about it, Dan, on Twitter, is does it maintain the folder structure as same as editors made it? And it is, of course, right? So that's cool. Very handy and useful for backupping.
I'd love to see this going the other way as well.
Like, yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say.
Just upload them all in that structure that's been created.
Yeah, that would be amazing, because that would allow us to and editors to drop a backup, maybe restore the same environment somewhere else without losing the whole structure of medias and doing it manually all the time. So yeah, very, very useful thing, and yeah, thanks Dan for sharing it. The next is from Sebastian. Sebastian released something related to Dan's project called godmode, I would say, because it's looking similar.
He even said on Twitter, "Hey, oh, hang on, wait a sec. Can we just rewind 1 second? Because Soren in the chat is saying you can currently unzip media folders.
Try dragging a zip into media folders and
just a folder. Wow.
Okay.
Huh. I'm gonna have to go check that. Thank you, Soren. Yeah, this package is really cool. And I saw Seb on Twitter even said it's fair game for Dan to steal this and put it in God mode, because it's something very logical to work on God mode. Yeah, it's exposing all the environment variables that you have running in your site in the back office, which makes it easier especially when you've got now several ways of applying environment variables in .NET. Yeah. You can have either your base app settings or your environment-based app settings config, or your actual runtime environment variables, stuff passed into the command line or through your web server that you're hosting it behind. So there's loads of ways, and it makes it really difficult to know exactly which value is going to be used or is being used. So this helps.
I always used a God mode for exactly the same purposes. But here, what I liked really is, like, Sebastian has a support for environment files. So you can see from which file and from which source this setting is applied or overwritten. That's awesome. That's very, very awesome and handy. And again, I'm sure that many people will benefit from using it. So thanks Sebastian for sharing. Nathan also released the new version of Plumber. So everyone who is keen on workflows and content workflows for Umbraco definitely need to update and check it out. I haven't used it for a while, Callum. Did you use it recently?
I've not used it in a little while. No, and on V8 is there a V9 version as well?
Yes,
I'm not sure, but yeah, I've not used it in a little while.
No, it's growing fast, and still Nathan is maintaining it very, very, very well. So I'm sure that it's still awesome and very evolved since I used it at least the last time. Cool. That's from the package releases. We can talk about events. As we've mentioned, there were some events this week. We've been both attending the meetup in London on Tuesday. It was a Q&A with Umbraco. It wasn't just Q&A with Philip, Umbraco CTO. There was a cloud guru from Umbraco team as well, Kik, who was helping and answering a lot of questions about cloud. But the general discussion was also awesome, and there was a lot of ideas flying around, right?
I love those kinds of things, because you can go probably for hours. I guess Philip and Kenneth probably didn't want to go for hours, but like I think the audience had plenty of questions.
Yeah,
we could have gone on, and then of course it was actually very nice to socialize with some people for the first time in a very long time. Very long time.
Yeah, and that's true. And yesterday there was a business online conference organized by Novisol here, and Philip was also talking about composable DXP. So your favorite topic, Callum.
To be fair, Philip on Tuesday gave a really good explanation of it, and
that's what I wanted to say.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
And from what I heard yesterday, a lot of people were very happy from how he also explained it once again for non-technical audience, because it makes sense. It makes sense from the business perspective as well. So yeah, it was a very good event. Plus, there was a lot of Umbraco related people around, so we all missed it. We all definitely missed the social part of the events as well, and looking forward for more. And speaking about more, there are still events that are online, and not everyone, not every event is going to happen in real life. And one of these is very interesting. This is an Ambraco Melbourne meetup, and the topic of it is no-code compositions, A/B testing, and personalization for Umbraco hardcore. That it all describes the uniform product, right?
So yeah, this looks really good, really good.
Yeah. But I don't know if you checked the uniform. There was a demo or a webinar done by the uniform team. I haven't checked it, and I'm very curious about what it can do and how it can be configured. So I might even join this one to really learn more.
It definitely looks interesting. This was again one of the things that Philip actually spoke a little bit about on Tuesday, where he was saying there's these products that claim to be like DXP, as in they're kind of a layer to glue things together. Which uniform is kind of that, isn't it? It's a kind of control plane across all of your different services to pull together, which is a very interesting idea. And he was also saying how these companies try and set out to be like, there's no central platform to manage things, when in reality, he said that probably belongs as a CMS, but uniform is one of those things that is not a CMS, but is gluing these bits together. So I'm quite interested. I've not seen too much about it in the past. It's relatively new, I think.
But it's good that we are able to learn about things like that, because always we can watch how someone else did it and then apply it for our own projects. And who knows, you might have need something like this in the near future. So that's the good stuff, and more of it's to come. And there is nothing else happening very soon. If we don't know anything, let us know, because then we will probably mention it next Friday. Blogs and Skrift release quickly. There were two articles released on April 5. One from Owen about his project that we mentioned a couple of times, right? It was a Twitter context app and extension for Umbraco 9. And this is the blog post describing how it's built, how it looks from the code perspective, and generally how the journey looked, and some gotchas and takeaways. Really nice and interesting story. And second was from Carl, and it is part 1 of Umbraco and Docker. So we can expect more parts of it. And Carl described here how we can work with Umbraco and Docker.
This is incredibly detailed. Really detailed.
That's what I wanted to say.
Carl's going to be doing a talk about this at Code Garden as well. But yeah, the content he's been producing on containerization and stuff for projects is really good, really valuable.
And again, thanks to all the recent Umbraco modifications and new features, being detaching the old databases engines, we are getting there. We are getting to the place where we will be able to probably separate easily and run Umbraco safer on the containerized environments. So yeah, we need to learn upfront then, and then be prepared to really set it up quickly then. So yeah, good stuff from Carl. Then Dennis, appreciation time now.
We've not had one in a little while, have we? But it's good to see him blogging.
But the 3 blog posts from Dennis tackling the similar topics, because Dennis was working on the reusable blocks for Umbraco 9, and of course explored some gotchas and issues with it. In this blog post, Dennis describes how to create the really reusable blocks located in the central repository of content in Umbraco, and the next article, the next blog post reveals the really interesting issue. And I wasn't aware that this is a thing, because I haven't configured element types for a while. But it looks like you can't create, and you can't use the element type for example, for the nested content and normal document type.
No, you cannot. You cannot. There was a bug early in V8 that allowed you to create content in the tree as like regular content nodes, and then flip them to be element types, and then they'd no longer be rootable and whatever. Of course, you can't then create new ones or add new ones. And I think it would give you an error if you tried to then edit those items as well, which is annoying, because it would be really cool to be able to store non-rootable content somewhere in CMS. And there was a big discussion on Twitter about this, wasn't there? About kind of where this belongs. We've got a package internally that will move a section of the content tree to like a custom section. So you can have, it's still actual content and it's still technically rootable, but if you it will put it outside, and then at least it's editable and it works kind of like you want those element types to. But yeah, it would be a lovely
but of course Dennis described the another workaround of creating a base document type with some block properties defined there, and then empty element type below. Interesting workaround, and again, this hack allows to do it and might be used, but there might be some other hacks and ways as well on the maps. So really interesting stuff. And last but not least, from Dennis, it was about integration testing and Umbraco API. And as usual, high quality content about setting up the test for APIs with really nice descriptions and examples out here, right? Cool. So end of Dennis appreciation time. Time to jump on Umbraco hardcore update from April. And I don't know if you mentioned that, probably we discussed it a couple of weeks ago, that Umbraco right now gets back on focus for some of their external products, same as Umbraco Cloud, that was heavily developed recently. Right now, it's time for hardcore
as well.
They've
got a dedicated team on hardcore now, and they're growing that team. So there's definitely a lot of effort going into it. And I have to say, I'm not probably the target consumer for hardcore. The kind of systems we build probably aren't best fit for this. However, a lot of the things in here start to give me glimmers of hope, something that I might actually feel like I could use. So that's really great to see.
And again, I'm on another side right now, because I'm falling into maybe not love yet, but I start to like thinking about headless approach for our website, and we do a lot of headless projects right now, and I think right now the hardcore is an amazing concept, and it was very heavily and very well built from the beginning by the team there. And right now it's taking benefits from new infrastructure, having some new improvements and tweaks, and also getting some new features for the upcoming releases, and taking all of the benefits also from the Umbraco updates and from the recent past. So it's interesting to see, interesting to observe, and especially for competing between the headless approaches. It would be good to see where Umbraco will go, because there is a huge market and a huge competitors list like Contentful and some other CMSs that are doing it for years already. So yeah, we'll see.
We've always said that Umbraco's true selling point is its flexibility and the kind of package ecosystem and everything. So it's really good to see now that things like contentment, or a very small part of contentment, is being surfaced through here. And also, as is I think it's on the roadmap, it's maybe in the process of happening in the coming weeks, is Arnold's Google Maps pickup, which again is a nice community contribution that makes sense to be able to use there. It doesn't make sense to be able to install Usync, for example, on hardcore probably, but some community packages and having those available just is awesome. It's really awesome.
Yeah, and we can take a look on some items in the next list, because there is a custom grid editor's idea for Umbraco hardcore, two-factor authentication, but also REST API based on Open API. That is really interesting, and something what would make maybe APIs and integrations with APIs easier, because then the front-end developers might be library independent and just build their code. against the simple REST API here. So that's great. And there are some new in later API keys, webhooks for secured endpoints, and some new client libraries for, of course, everything what will improve in the meantime. So really good stuff, really good progress.
There was one more thing to call out here. Two more things. They've got a webinar coming up where they're going to talk a little bit about the work they're doing, but also if you scroll right to the bottom here, they are going to be starting a community team. Well, that's the plan. I think it's just a little bit up. Yeah, there you go. They're going to try and do a community team to cover headless projects at Umbraco, and I think more details are going to be announced for that during that webinar. So that's April 26th, 3 p.m. European time. If you're interested, and there's a lot of people that are getting more and more interested in headless stuff. I know we just spoke about the Australian meetup. I know that Emmanuel there is all over hardcore, has been since day one. I know people like Paul Nemo have been incredibly active with it as well. So there's definitely community interest there for a team, I think.
Yeah, so definitely, I'm also curious about this webinar content. What is coming next, and yeah, if the team will be helping, it's always good to see this help coming from the outside into the Umbraco. And Umbraco is always very happy from any kind of feedback coming into the development of the new product. So let's keep an eye on that. 2 new articles on YouTube read this week, day 23 and day 24. So
day 23 is a really good one, because if you maybe just skip a little bit into the video, this was Lottie's crossword, but she actually got the 24 days team, Jan and Christian and Paul, to come and do the crossword with her on the video, which is a nice idea. So Lottie and I were saying how much I love these crosswords. I wish we could have more of them. We probably would run out of Umbraco words at some point. It would be great to see more of these.
I believe the same challenge was for all the bingo organizers every year for finding Umbraco words every time. But yeah, it's really great to see, and of course another interactive contribution from the Umbraco community team. And day 24, which closed the list of articles for this year. And right now we can count down to the next 24 days again. That is not that far away in time.
Don't say that, Marcin. Don't say
man, time flies. Time flies. We all know that. So yeah, it should be fine. Couple more things. I don't know why I disabled monitor. Blog post about a Hubspot integration for Umbraco and Forms. So one of the extensions that helps to integrate with external tools. And of course, for all of those who don't know, Hubspot is a massive CRM system, more than CRM system these days. And there was a Forms integration released a while ago, and now it's the blog describes how it works, how the connection is established, how it's done, and we talked about it on Tuesday, that some of these integrations are very good inspiration for doing more with this platform. So the integration just shows how you can connect to it, how you can use it, what can be done with it, but the rest can be yours, and you can fork, you can extend, you can build code against the library and just do whatever you want to do. And this one is a very good example, I would say, because there is a lot to do.
Following on from some of the chats, we had it was maybe about a month ago now, where we were talking about was it authentication against generating keys and tokens. Andy Butland reached out, and we had a good chat about how I would see Umbraco being able to do that sort of thing. And they're really open to making a lot of standardized APIs or systems to work with this, so that other package authors can leverage, connecting via OAuth to some service and storing some credentials. They're really keen to do that. We're going to see that you're seeing a lot of repetition throughout these integrations that they're building. So we'll get those bits spun off, and if it makes sense, they will spin those things off as independent things, which is exciting.
And exactly, more integrations, it's more opportunities for us all, and also for Umbraco, because if it will be possible to easily integrate it with something cool on the market, that's why not to do it, and then we can use Umbraco and see Umbraco in the different kind of projects as well. So yeah, that's really good. Then there's a time for PR of the week, maybe.
We've not had this in so long. Last week I accidentally pressed the button and there wasn't one. It flicked up like half a second and then it disappeared. But yeah, pull request of the week.
But this one deserves a big kudos to Michael, who messaged me on Twitter with this PR after it was merged. So thanks, Michael. This PR is adding move action to dictionaries. So something what was very awaited.
How long have we needed this? We were discussing this at the meetup the other day about the approaches that the inventive approaches people have taken for this. My one is when we use usync, changing the parent key, parent ID, and then re-importing, and it moves it. But yeah, this finally in core being able to move dictionary items just.
Yeah, so big five to everyone involved in this work, because it saves a lot of headaches for people who were doing a lot of work with dictionaries. So very good and well-deserved PR of the week. And last but not least, new hire at Umbraco HQ, Davis, who joined the team like in the cloud as a cloud consultant. And he is, I'm correct, he's based in the US, right? So
yeah, so
yeah, the team is expanding, and the new cloud consultant will also help from there. I can't remember now. Anders said the number of people working from US to for Umbraco already, but it's a couple of people already. So the team is growing, and
I think they've got a couple of job openings as well for the US. So it's an actively growing market for sure.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all on our list today. I don't think we miss something. If we missed, again, as usual, let us know. And we will definitely include the list of things that we spoke about on the YouTube description. And yeah, that's it. Like, subscribe. We should do it at the beginning of the video.
We really should. We should remind people. But as we've said last week, it's our goal to get 1,000 subscribers by SubCon next year. So please, please subscribe.
When is SubCon next year?
I have no idea.
Yeah, if we want to make it to Code Garden, then we will extend the time to the next SubCon. But I did some ambassadorship work yesterday on the event. I clicked subscribe button to everyone who was who I was showing our channel to. So do the same, people. If you are watching umbraCoffee with someone, just click subscribe button on their phone. That makes the work happen. But yeah, thank you in advance. Thank you for watching us, and thank you for making us busy with all the news. And just do the same for the next week, because we'll see each other as usual on the next Friday. So thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day and the weekend ahead.